It was just for me an eye opener to realize how fast you can make money. Started coaching people for free, and in the end, the group grew, and I made it into a business.
My first 6 years, I spent losing money year after year after year.
Most people think when you say focus on the process, focus on the journey. I strongly believe that if you want to succeed as a trader, you need to understand how do you want to trade? People say we don't have time. What they actually mean is they have limited time, and it's very hard for them to actually the 5 minutes they have, the 30 minutes. And I had the same thing, and I'm just gonna be honest. Even for me, it was difficult. Most of the times when I had some time off, I just wanted to sleep.
What is going on, guys and girls? Welcome back to another episode of Meet the Trader. Today, I'm joined by Jordy, tuning all the way in from Belgium. Jordy, thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor. It's great trading with you guys. So it's nice to talk to someone, talk about the trading experience, and I'm excited to talk
Awesome,
about
man.
trading.
We're looking forward to hearing a lot more about your journey, your experience, kind of what you're looking for in the markets as well. I think these things are all quite popular topics of conversation with a lot of traders. Before we dive in, I think it'd be helpful for you to take the floor a little bit and just introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about your background into trading.
All right. I've been trading for 6 years, something like that, just before COVID happened. So as most people starting out with crypto, just realized how Bitcoin works, and I needed to invest in it when it was around 3K, something like that. So that was my first experience in the markets. I had no idea about risk management. I had no idea how volatile the crypto market was. So I just put in, I think it was 5K back then, into the crypto market. And it was just for me an eye opener to realize how fast you can make money. And later on, of course, I realized as fast as you can make it, that's how fast you can lose it as well. So from that, doing the crypto stuff, I just wasn't experienced. So I was trying to get some courses. I remember I bought like 10 or 20 courses in total over the last 6 years. Everything teaching me some new stuff. And then I eventually found out that Forex was more my thing, because of prop firms and stuff like that. I transitioned into Forex because this really was something to scale up my my way into trading and stop working my catering job. So that was the main motivation. So for me, crypto, I just had the 5K. So I was like, okay, prop firms, Forex, this is the way, this is the tool, this is the cash cow that I need to use to stop working, of course, as most people probably do when they start trading for props. I started trading with prop firms, and of course that's everyone has their own journey in prop firms. I think I went from buying accounts every month. So if you ask me how many accounts I've blown, I couldn't even tell you, I guess. So it was like, for me, I was just working, and everything that I saved up, I was spending in funded accounts, just not realizing that I had to grow as a person and trader first. I was just buying it every time. Once I blew one, I was just buying it again and not learning from it and just trying the same thing, which is the definition of insanity, of course. So I've been there, and then I took some personal mentors, psychologists, worked with a lot of very good biohackers, performance coaches, and stuff like that, because I knew this was my one thing. Like, when you wake up, this is what I want to do. So I just went all in. I think I spent all my money that I had saved on the bank. I had some money, so I had the luxury to spend it on coaches and stuff like that. And then I found ICT, smart money, was going more into that direction. And there is really where my trading journey actually leveled up, because I strongly believe that if you want to succeed as a trader, you need to understand how do you want to trade. Do you want to be a swing trader? Do you want something mechanical? Do you want to have do you want to get a better understanding of the markets, or do you just want to execute the same mechanical trading strategy every day? And for me, I really wanted to understand what the markets were doing. So smart money, ICT, all these things around price action, they really help me, because they give you well, liquidity is going to be the same for everyone, and then it's it depends on what your experience what it is, but like the highs and the lows in the market is going to be the same for everyone. There's no doubt about it. And if you trade patterns and stuff like that, indicators, well, a lot of people will trade it differently and have a different perspective on that. So that's my journey getting into the funded part, getting into the smart money, and then I just started really seeing some results, getting my first payouts. Then I realized I was getting very cocky, losing the accounts again, because of course you get the first big payout and stuff like that. So I lost some accounts, also lost some accounts due to bad prop firms. So that's something that I had to learn the hard way. I lost a lot of funding working with these firms and suddenly they went offline. So last year I really selected some good firms, and FundedNext is one of them. So I have a couple of firms I trade with, and so far they're all paying me out, so that's a good thing. They're paying me out fast, which is also a very nice thing, because if you have to wait 1 week, 2 weeks, well, you start to get anxious. Do I get my payout, yes or no? Because you know the history of prop firms. And I think, last year I scaled back up. I lost my funding in the beginning of last year and I scaled it back up working with a psychologist. I scaled it back up to 800K, which FundedNext is one of course. And that's been the journey until today.
Awesome, man. It sounds like I want to backtrack just for a second. How long ago did you say that you started getting into trading? What time frame are we talking about here?
Trading, I think, actively trading, I think 2020, 2021, like the COVID area is where I really invested a lot of time into trading.
Got you. It sounds like in, a very short space of time, you've actually experienced quite a lot. You've been through some real highs, some real lows. You've obviously been open enough to talk about kind of even that gambling phase where you were just buying account after account, but not really learning the lessons, which I think a lot of people will be able to resonate to, right? It's something that, I mean, when I started, prop firms weren't as big as they were now. So I think almost I'm thankful for that, because I think I probably would have made the exact same mistakes. But very, very interesting. Something I did see, I believe I caught from what you shared about your past is before you got into trading, you were working in the catering industry. Is that right?
Yeah. So I worked in some high-end luxury restaurants, Michelin star restaurants. So it was 14 to 16 hours a day. Wow. So it was really difficult. So I was trying to get into trading, and I just really had to, for that lifestyle, I really had to only focus on swing trading. And I think for a lot of traders, that's how they start, because you have a job, you have an organization, kids, stuff like that. So for me, that was really hard, working long days, and the days you're off, you're just so empty that you need to rest, and you don't really find any motivation to. So I understand people trying to get into full-time trading, because it's hard. Everyone has their own stuff going on. It's either a business, a job, or kids. That's the most common stuff. So people say we don't have time. What they actually mean is they have limited time, and it's very hard for them to actually the 5 minutes they have, the 30 minutes. And I had the same thing, and I'm just gonna be honest, even for me it was difficult. Most of the times when I had some time off, I just wanted to sleep, or I just wanted to take some rest. So swing trading was the way to go. Running to the toilet when I had time to place trades, it's not a joke. My boss, when she saw me on my phone, because it was a Michelin star restaurant, she was like, "You're here to work for me and not to be on your phone," which I understand. Honestly, you want some people dedicated to your business, and I fully understand that as well. So yeah, that was a very difficult way to finding my way in trading and finding the style of swing trading that actually worked. That was the hardest thing for me, because I really wanted to be on the charts. I wanted to, and in the end, you finally learned, because I went into very active day trading after I quit my job. And then I realized, well, this is not going to be how I want to trade, because I still want to have some time. I don't want to be stuck to my screen all day. And then you you evolve again into swing trading.
It's ironic, because I find, so many people, when you talk to them about why they got into trading, one of the things they say is, I trade for freedom. But then, the freedom that they're looking for and what they actually get, which is usually like 12 hours a day in front of a chart, I'm like, that's not freedom, right? Freedom is being able to actually control your time and do what you want and trade when you want to trade, or trade in a way that allows you to live the life that you want. And I think a lot of people are really getting a blurred line with that and not really finding a good balance of a lifestyle that really works for them. So I love the fact that you've obviously brought that up as part of your journey as well. So where you are right now in terms of your journey, are you trading full time, or is this a part-time thing for you? Do you have other sort of hustles, businesses going on the side?
Yeah, I've been trading full time for something more than 2 years, I think,
Okay.
which has been a very difficult journey because, of course, in the beginning, I had a buffer, so that's always something I wanted to have. I wanted to have some money on the side, and then I just decided for myself, I want to go full time. And even if it doesn't work, I can still, because I'm working in catering, there's going to be a lot of restaurants. So I can go back next month. So for me, the risk wasn't that high. People who have a business, people who work a very high corporate job or whatever, that's another story. You just don't want to quit that job because it's going to be difficult to get back in. But for me, I had nothing to lose. I was like, if I want to, there's a lot of restaurants. So I decided 2 years ago that I was done. I was just empty. I just wanted to focus on trading. I wasn't having that much payouts yet. And then I just had a couple. I just had some money saved. So I was like, let's do this. Let's focus full time. And then you realize if you focus on it full time, you just are starting to care too much about trading. And it gets even harder because you care so much. So I had some difficulties back then, lost the fund again, managed to get it back every time because I never gave up. And then I started coaching some people for free because, of course, they saw my payouts, they saw the results. Started coaching people for free. And in the end, the group grew and I made it into a business, coaching people as well. Focused a lot on one-on-one coaching. I quit doing it that much. So I'm very selective right now because of time. So I made like a group that people can join and stuff to have a little extra income. But again, I have some properties as well. And next to that, crypto, of course, that I that I trade as well. So these are the things I mainly focus on. Yeah.
Awesome. I feel like I can resonate so much with your journey because when I lost money for a long time when I first started trading. And when I say a long time, my first 6 years, I spent losing money year after year after year. And when I finally felt like I had a breakthrough, I took a plunge. I had a falling out with the job that I had at the time. I decided to quit. I had money in the bank. I was like, I've got myself a little bit of a runway to try and go full time now. And the thing that I found personally is the moment I quit my job, one, I needed every trade to work now because I had no other source of income. And secondly, I had all this free time and I spent all of it at the charts, which made me actually a worse trader. And so I took a very similar route to you, which was I opened up a coaching business. And a lot of my work is basically time spent as a performance coach. I help a lot of traders, but only with the psychology side of trading. So that balancing with the trading actually makes me a much more sane human being, right? I don't need the money from the markets anymore. And it actually gives me something to do instead of actively trying to create opportunities in the market which don't necessarily exist. So I can resonate with so much that you say because it kind of rings a lot of bells and light bulbs from my own journey as well. So very interesting background.
That's an interesting one you said. Like, I don't need the money anymore. And that's when you truly skyrocket.
It's weird, right?
That's a difficulty because the beginning trader, I always tell them you need to have the mindset. It doesn't matter that much. You don't need the money, but it's very difficult because they actually want to have the results. And if you're into psychology, you know this thing called result-based thinking and process-based thinking. I mean, honestly, if you can get that one right and focus on the process, but most people think when you say focus on the process, focus on the journey, they see these quotes on Instagram and stuff like that, but it's not just that easy as posting a quote on Instagram, like focus on the journey. Truly focusing on the journey and being fine with not making money and just seeing every trade as a lesson, every loss, learn from it. Like, don't even care about the money. And that was a huge one for me. I was like, everything I do, I'm just a very curious human being. I want to learn. I feel like a kid in the markets. I just want to see every trade. If I take a trade, it's just me as a kid riding the bike for the first time. Even though I have a lot of experience, every trade I want to see, I know this can work out, but will it work out this time? Are there some new things happening? I think if you can get that in the beginning, you're going to have less frustrated trading
Yeah.
journey.
You know, the thing is, and again, this is something I witnessed from, I guess, my position. I'm in a position where I connect with hundreds of traders every single month. And I think, truly speaking, from someone that's been in the game since 2012, I think there has never been a better time to be an aspiring trader in terms of the amount of information that's available and the relatively low barrier to entry to actually get involved in the game, right?
Yeah.
But as well as that, it also has some limitations, which I think a lot of traders don't consider. For example, when you are risking every last penny that you have to go into a prop firm challenge, for example, it's natural psychologically that you're going to be attached to the outcome of that position, right? And I think this is why I say to a lot of people, you're actually far better off trying to or thinking about trading like a side hustle at the beginning. And if you can keep another source of income, a job, a business, whatever it is, a lot of people don't like hearing that because it goes against kind of that full-time mentality. But that getting rid of that need to make money and having that level of detachment will actually help you become an infinitely better trader in the long run. But teaching that to the new trader, the inexperienced one that doesn't have the time and had those, made those mistakes for themselves, it's often quite a difficult journey for them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Okay, so you mentioned obviously you're using a lot of prop firms in this day and age, and you obviously had some bad experiences. What is it about FundedNext that stood out for you as someone that you thought to want to work with in the long run? Because you mentioned obviously you got quite selective after having some bad experiences. What specifically about FundedNext stood out for you?
That's a good question because I think a lot of people, I'm of course biased because I use FundedNext and I'll have some other prop firms. But for me, the criteria that I was looking for is of course trading conditions, payouts. So you want to see people getting payout, not a lot of issues with the process, support being good. So that's all the things that I was looking at. And then of course I was looking at the top firms. So I'm not going to use a firm that's just been there for 1 month. For me especially, I didn't like the USA firms. So I didn't focus on USA based firms as well, because that also was an issue. And then how did I arrive at FundedNext? I'm not sure anymore. I think I knew somebody who was trading at FundedNext and who was very satisfied, and that's how I did my research. I know a lot of traders and I just asked them, are you getting payouts? Are you getting them fast? So mouth to word or word to mouth is a thing that I was going for. And then when I saw the challenges, the extra benefits, these things really triggered me in. And I think the funny thing is, I actually know when I started with FundedNext last year, because it was a promo at Mubarak promo or something. And that was actually, for me, a big trigger, because I have a list of firms I want to work with. And when they do a great promo, as I said, I don't need the money, so I can just, for me, I can wait for a promo. Nowadays, every week there is a promo, but this one was really insane. I think I don't know it by heart, but it was crazy. So then, for me, that was the time to jump, and also with other firms. But with FundedNext, that's how I got to know the firm. And the funny story is, I've actually forgot to use the promo code, so that's how I started with FundedNext, and I was messaging support. I think I still got the reward from the promo. Okay. I think because one payout I'm not sure. I didn't check it honestly. I have multiple funded accounts. It was not, for me, the promos are just an extra little thing. If you're making payouts with the account, the promo doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But that was a funny story. I was like texting the support. I was like, shouldn't I get like this refund 150% or 300% refund, something like that. But I think I got it. Every payout they added 100%. I think it actually happened. But I was, the first time it didn't happen, so I was texting support and they're like, you didn't buy this. And I was like, oh my God, I just clicked the promo, but I didn't use the promo code. I mean,
rookie mistake. One I'm sure you've learned from.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so Jordy, I would love to know a little bit more about your approach to the markets. If you wouldn't mind maybe sharing your screen with us and just talking us through what specifically you're looking for on the charts when you're looking to get involved in a position.
Sure. Perfect. Let me share my screen.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do you want me to share some positions I am looking for this week? But maybe.
So maybe start by just giving us an overview of maybe how you analyze the market and what you're looking for, and then maybe follow that up with this is a potential position that I'm looking at, or maybe one that you've taken, for example.
Okay. So for me, when I trade, I just like to keep it simple. I trade smart money, price action, stuff like that. So when I trade, there's a couple of things. Of course, first I look at the DXY, the yen, the euro. So I look at indexes to know what currencies are doing, to just have an extra correlation. So doing that, that's a small thing that I always do. When I trade a dollar pair, I want to know what the dollar is doing. Of course, today is the inauguration of Trump. So it's a bank holiday in the US. So the DXY is not moving. So I'm not trading. So also a lot of extra rules that I'm not going to mention, but I'm just going to talk about the technicals that I do. So very simple. What I always look for when I take a trade, my first thing is that I want a target. So let's just put TP. So I want to have a target for me, and it goes more detailed. It's always draw on liquidity. So knowing where the liquidity is always going to be the first thing for me. If you don't have a target in the market, what are you even trading? I mean, I can, if it's bullish and I'm buying, but there is no bullish bias or bullish target, I mean, why would I take the long position? So for me, that's part one. Then the second part is quite simple. We need to look for a point of interest. So I'm just looking like, okay, if I have this target in the market, from which point, let me remove this. So how I usually do it is you have premium and discount. So let's say we have a target right here. This is our target. And we have price action moving here. Let's say it like this. We want to trade, of course, in those discounted zones if we're going long, premium if we're going short. So I just look for a point of interest. Very simple. I have different criteria. I'll look for something here. And then, of course, I'll need some more confirmation here. Look at the indexes if we can take this position to our target. And that's the third part. That's the execution, getting the confirmations that you need in your point of interest. That's actually very simple how I trade.
Very, very, very simple breakdown, which I like. And again, I think sometimes a lot of simplicity is what helps to give you that clear mind to do the things that you're supposed to do, right? So from my understanding, and again, I'm just going to repeat this back to ensure I've understood it, and I'm sure the viewers are understanding it the same way. You're starting off with a very, very simple approach, which is, where is my target? Where is price essentially going, right? And this gives you you framed it as your draw on liquidity. I think of it as having like a kind of a bias in the market as in terms of where you're looking to take price. The second thing you're looking for, was it the point of interest?
Yeah.
Point of interest. And you said you had various different criteria in which qualifies as a point of interest. And then inside that point of interest, you then got your execution criteria, which is giving you some kind of maybe price action or something that you're looking for. And you said you're correlating that back to the indexes sometimes, and you're looking to take that back up to your target, your bias, your draw liquidity. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
So that's, of course, it looks very simple.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of stuff that I like. Draw of liquidity, understanding that point of interest. There's a lot of stuff that comes into that as well. Which is a correct point of interest? Which ones do we not take? Efficiencies in the market and stuff like that. Yep. And then the execution is really where I dive down in the market, understand everything, what the order flow is doing, what liquidity is doing, when the markets are ready to move. So yeah.
Got you. And would you say there's any part of that three-step process which is more important than the other? Or do you need all three to be able to get into a trade?
That's a good question. Which one is the most important one? I think point of interest, not really. Because if you have a target and the point of interest is not there, and you can still find the market giving you confirmation at a higher point, at an equilibrium, or maybe not in the premium or in the discounted area, I still think you can find some B setups with a good execution, with a good confirmation. Okay. I think having a target and a vision and a bias is going to be the most important one, obviously. I think if you want to trade, you need a target. You need to plan your trade. So yeah, for me, that's if you don't have that, I don't think you can take a clear trade. Of course, if you trade very actively on the daily as a day trader, yeah, or scalper, it's not going to be for me. I'm a swing trader, so it's going to be more crucial to have
Got you.
one.
Got you. So talk to me a little bit about the swing trading approach, right? Is there a specific time frame that you specifically operate or analyze or execute from as a swing trader? Is that something that's important to you? Or do you kind of drill through all of them but just have your targets from a swing trading perspective?
For me, I use the daily and the 4 hour as
Okay.
my higher time frames. Daily liquidity is, of course, going to be the important one. And then also, I'll move down to 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes to look for confirmations, to understand what price action is doing on the lower time frame and to execute.
Okay, got you. And I believe you mentioned a little bit earlier in the call that primarily you stick to trading FX markets. Is that right?
Yeah, I trade crypto as well, but for the
Okay.
prop firms, most of the prop firms I trade FX, yes.
And why FX over any other asset class? Is there a specific reason or comfortability?
I think when I started out trading, a lot of the prop firms were mostly offering FX, so that's why I focused on it. But also, I had some some losses in crypto, so I learned the hard way that it's very volatile,
Yeah.
and I just saw I just saw that forex was less volatile. There's a lot of volume in it, so I guess that triggered me, and it's easier to trade price action in forex. I assume if you look at crypto or stocks or stuff like that, you just need to do a lot more fundamental analysis, and I really like doing technical analysis. I really love understanding price, looking at liquidity, and I think, of course, there's going to be other markets like indices and stuff like that that's going to
Yeah.
have that aspect as well. But you can't focus on everything. And for me, I have a very strong edge in the FX market. And I think if you want to trade other markets, you need to understand fundamentals and correlations. And I think I know all these the best in Forex. So that's why I kept trading Forex.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Do you have any particular markets that you are very active in? Does it vary every single week? Do you have like a favorite market that you like to trade, for example?
Yeah. So I make a split into dollar pairs, yen pairs, and then we have the minor pairs. So for me, when I trade dollars, it's going to be mostly like Asia liquidity stuff, like in the morning when London opens. So I really like trading that. That's a separate thing I do. So when London opens, I look for silver bullet. Most people will notice it has different names, or Asia low reversals, Asia high reversals. So that's what I do on the dollar. So that's not swing trading. And then for my swing positions, it's going to be the yen pairs. I really like trading the yen
Mm,
pairs.
mm,
Also, if you look at the yen, it's been bearish for like almost forever.
yeah.
So I really understand the yen. So I really like trading it. It's for the first time bullish right now, of course, with everything that's going on in Japan. So I'm not blind for fundamentals. And then I have some minor pairs that I really like Euro CAD, Euro NZD, Pound NZD. I just make a selection, Euro CAD and Pound CAD, stuff like that. It's going to be the same. So if you look at or Euro NZD, for example, and Pound NZD, it's most of the time going to look somewhat the same. The
Yeah.
Euro out, Pound out. So they have some strong correlation. So I'm very selective. If I want to trade a minor pair, I'm going to even select, like, do I want to trade the Euro against it or the Pound against it? And I find that these minor pairs are very nice to trade continuations. So if you
Okay.
look at a Euro CAD, for example, if you look at supply and demands on Euro CAD, you're going to see that it's going to work very well. Like it's going to respect it a lot of times. If you have a supply here, if you have a demand here, if you know what you're looking for, and if you understand liquidity, the continuations on these pairs are nice. And then the same thing goes for yen pairs. It's a position I took last week, but yeah, that's everything I trade.
Nice, nice. And being, again, with the swing trading approach, do you find that your trade duration, how long does that typically last for you? Are we talking days? Are we talking weeks?
Well, sometimes you can see this position I took last week is just this was one day. So
Okay.
usually it's not like that, but you can see that there was some Australian dollar news that was pushing the price, of course, a bit faster than I expected.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually 2 days. Let me check. Yeah, I think it's 2 days. But usually when I swing, it's like intra-week, like 1
Okay.
to 3 days. And the silver bullets, of course, are just like 1 to 2 hours in the morning where you just take a small risk to reward, but you have a higher win rate. But yeah, 2 days, 3 days, that's the maximum. Also, because a lot of firms don't allow weekend holding.
Yeah.
So for me, when I'm in a position, I always, because I work with a couple of firms, I have to check, okay, can I weekend hold? Can I do news? Can I, just to keep me sharp, because I'll just forget, you know.
Yeah.
I don't always trade all my positions on every account.
Hmm.
I did that before, and when you have a losing streak and you have a lot of funding, it's not so fun.
Yeah. One thing I do notice about your charts is they are very, very clean. And given the conversation I've had with you, I feel like
Thank
this
you.
is something that's met probably by design.
Yeah,
There's not a
definitely.
lot of, or like tons of indicators being overlaid and something like that. Are indicators something that you use at all in your trading?
No, no. I really, that's a big compliment to me, because I really like to keep it very simplistic, very clean.
Mm.
Um, as I mentioned to some people, you don't really need to. A lot of people put like breaks of structures, everything, and it's just gonna create fuss in your trading. For me, like I just have a couple of things that's going to be important if I want to take this short position here. This is going to be important. As you can see, there's some numbers on there, but they don't
Hmm.
even need to be there. So there's a couple of things that need to be important for me. That's external liquidity here, and I can hold this position for 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay.
So that's quite an interesting part of my trading as well.
Mm.
But to me, I just took this short last week. I had my just intra-week drawn liquidity here, but I
Hmm.
still have, this says clear target, by the way.
Nice. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so this is the clear target for me externally, because we took this one. So that's always how I trade, and now I can just look for a next short this week from here. So I don't really need to keep that first position, and just, if I would have kept it, I just realized after this liquidity that I would give back 2%, 2.5% of that trade. So
Mm.
I take the 3% trade, and next week, if the target is still valid and we still get some confirmation here, I can still trade towards this clear target and get another 3R trade potentially.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, one last question. I think you've given us a really good insight into the strategy side of things. How how much emphasis did you put on something like backtesting when you were trying to kind of refine your approach and edge in the market? Is that something that you did a lot of, any of at all, or to give us your insights on this?
In the beginning, I did it a lot, just to understand and how you can find positions. There's two ways that I backtest. I don't do it anymore. I'm just going to be very brutally honest,
Yeah.
because I'm on the charts every day. I go live
Okay.
in my group in the morning. I do some group calls. I have mentorships. I'm literally a lot of time behind the charts, doing these interviews. So obviously, I'm not backtesting, because it doesn't bring me that much new value. To
Okay.
me, the new value is going to be in reviewing my trades, playing it back, checking everything on that trade, and backtesting that position.
Hmm.
If I could have done something better, if I missed something in that backtest. But what I did in the beginning was two ways of backtesting. What I did was just check where did the moves in the market came. So let's say you have, okay, you wouldn't want to short here. It's not going to be the best short, but I just wanted to know, would it been possible to take a position here?
Mm.
And I just looked at every play in the market. Let's say there's a demand zone here.
Hmm.
Then this was my way of backtesting. Let's see. Okay, we have a demand and we had a nice play from this demand. Okay, then I would just go back to here and I would just check on the lower time frame to just be efficient,
Mm.
to check was there a position here. Let's play price, and you could just check what price is doing, and I would just learn how markets are moving. Okay, you see the order flow is switching here. We can see that here, and then I was just trying to understand what was crucial in this. Okay, well, we had this push to the downside, making a last sweep, this kind of price action. I'm not going to go too much in depth, but let's say, for example, this was a nice position to take. What would have been a correct stop loss? Well, probably this, or even underneath the zone. You can
Hmm.
experiment, but probably this, because this is going to be the last point that was important. If it goes underneath, it's probably not going to play out. And then I was just checking out, okay, how can I get a good risk to reward? Well, move it a bit to here, get a 3R, don't even care about the zone. And potentially this was how you could have traded this position. I'm not sure if it's going to tap. Well, it's going to tap. That's how I backtested. And that's how I
Okay.
learned to trade. And you can
Nice.
see, um, And even if you wanted, I don't usually trade scale-ins unless this one would have been break even, but you can see there's some scale-in opportunity here as well to trade towards that target. So that's how I used to backtest. And if you want to go more advanced, you can just play back, but that's going to bring a lot of frustration for a beginner trader. So you can just don't look, play back, and just understand price action.
Yeah.
That's a good way that I used to train myself, but it's going to be more difficult because if you don't have much time, you're going to be waiting for a demand zone in this case.
Yeah.
Or we'll create some new zones, and it's just not efficient as a beginner because you're going to waste a lot of time waiting for zones, waiting for trades. I think it's more efficient to understand where the plays were made and how you could have made some money on those plays.
Yeah.
But there's some cool stuff as well. What I used to do is just go on a 1 minute chart and just look at price for 2 hours. And at a 1 minute chart, it's a crazy exercise because you're going to learn so much about order flow. You'll see some liquidity being swept. And that's going to be interesting. And you'll understand what price is doing and that you potentially can move to the downside here. And you'll see everything playing out and you'll get a better understanding of price action. So that's a kind of live back testing that I used to do as well.
I like this. For me, it feels like you're very much just reverse engineering where the best moves are. And I like the fact that you've said it, you find it to be more efficient than kind of drawing a zone and then just waiting for it to play out. So yeah, makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, perfect. I would love to transition and see a little bit of maybe your journals or your FundedNext dashboard, whichever one you're more comfortable in sharing with us. Would you be able to switch over your screens for that?
I have my I have my dashboard as well, but I think it's easier to use this one because all my trades are journaled in here. So I have everything, my full track record always. Of course, I put the trades in here, but for me, this is my Bible of trading. So when I look at my if it's going to load, I can see everything that I've done since I've been using this program since January last year, so 1 year. And I can see all the results that I've been doing. Why do I use this? Because I have multiple funded accounts. So it's better to get an overview of what I'm actually doing. And you can see the raw reality of doing months like -7, -8. Obviously, I blew some accounts in that month. So it's quite interesting, but I can show you the trades as well per month. The trade I just showed you on Aussie Yen. So what I usually do is I take some screenshots. Of course, this one is not going to be that interesting because it's a winner. Everything played out correctly. It was textbook. So I put my higher time frame screenshot in here. I put my lower time frame screenshot in here. Yeah, it was just textbook. So nothing to learn from this. So there's nothing written. But if you look at my my losing trades, that's something I'll review. Not sure if this is going to be, this is a silver bullet. So let's look for a swing. It's also a silver bullet. Let me look for a swing position that I took on CAD Yen. So quite an interesting one. It was just before the yen was trying to switch to bullish, and because I'm always bearish on the yen, I didn't believe it, and I still thought we were going to make a move here. So quite an interesting one for me, getting back in the this was beginning of January, getting back into the trading, making a mistake of getting in way too fast. Just I had to wait a bit longer because we were actually making a bigger time frame manipulation here. So it's a thing called accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So I was actually trading in the manipulation. So it's a big mistake that I made. And you can see it here, actually the liquidity being swept against me as well. So it was not the best trade of myself. And I know why. I was just getting into the charts way too quick in the beginning of the year. It was actually this one. Where I wanted to trade here. And you can see, if you look on the you can see this clear accumulation, manipulation, distribution, AMD model. So, well, obviously you don't know in advance, but there was a lot of issues. So for me, I tried to look what was happening here, what was playing out here, why did we get this price action? Of course, nothing is perfect and you'll take some losses. So I think it's interesting to show you my losses. There's also crypto trades in here. So this was a Bitcoin long that I took after liquidity and getting my confirmations. Bitcoin long that I took in the beginning of the year. But let's talk about Forex a bit more. As you can see, December wasn't really good for me. It was not break even. I think I just lost a little bit here. I had a nice position on Euro NZD to end the year. Yeah, I know a lot of my positions by heart, especially the winners.
Yeah.
So I took a nice position on Euro NZD, very nice confirmation entry, very simple. I had a target, this higher target. In this case, I didn't meet my risk to reward, so I knew obviously sometimes we go a little bit further than the target. So I just placed it here. And if I have a little bit of space above my target, worst case, I'll still be break even. So I can just take the risk of holding it a bit longer because I'm going break even anyway on that position. And it actually
just to interrupt there a second, you mentioned the trade didn't meet your risk to reward. Clearly, that's a factor that's quite important to you. What risk to reward are you typically aiming for?
For my swings, I always just aim for 1 to 3 because I know from my data, I don't think this is I think it's even higher. It depends. I had some losing streaks when I lost 5 trades, 6 trades, so it's gonna ruin this a bit. But I know my win rate is gonna be, when I'm trading on the highest level that I should be, I should have a 40-45% win rate. So when I get that 1 to 3, of course, having a lower risk to reward is also gonna allow me to win more trades, because if you aim for, in the beginning of my journey, I aimed for 1 to 5 or 1 to 6, 1 to 7. You're just gonna lose more trades because most of them are not gonna play fully. So I always aim for 1 to 3. If you get further into the trading lifestyle, you'll understand that a win rate is actually more important than the risk to reward, because you want to have a, well, it has to be has to have a healthy correlation. But for me, I want to have something like 40-45% win rate with a 1 to 3 risk to reward. And I don't like having 1 to 5 risk to reward and only winning 15 to 20% of my trades. It's just psychologically.
This is something I think a lot of traders struggle with, because, and again, maybe this is my perception, I see a lot of people that they are learning strategies and they want to produce that really high risk to reward, but they fail to comprehend that a really high risk to reward usually is inversely correlated with your win rate. So you'll subsequently have a much lower win rate. And that, for a lot of people, psychologically is very, very difficult to withstand and remain process orientated during that time. I think you're far better off with your approach, at least from a psychological standpoint, right? You have a little bit more of a balance, and it's easier to manage those periods of time.
Yeah, and I think also if you move into like the real hedge funds and stuff like that, I'm not doing it because it's with trading floors and stuff like that. Might do it if I can trade from home. But if you have a talk with them and if you discuss trading, they want to see you trade. Of course, they want to see your data. They want to test you. But the only thing they'll tell you, because I did it, but I wasn't ready. I did it a year and a half ago. The only thing they'll tell you is just focus on not losing too much. They just want you to, like, if you go drawdowns to -5, -6, they don't really like that. And for me, I still take some risk because I have multiple accounts. But they don't care if you make 10%, 5%, 3%, 2%. They just don't want you to make -5 because it's really people investing in that hedge fund, and they just want you to be very healthy. Even if you make nothing that month, but next month you make 3%, they care about that. So I learned from that as well, talking to those people, like having that network of people, and they just, that's why they don't like scalpers, because they take a lot of losses quite quickly. So that's an interesting approach that I use daily when I'm trading. Just focus on my risk management. And that's where people in crypto lose a lot of money. And where I did before as well, I was just too much focused on how much can I make instead of what am I risking and what can I lose. And it's nice to take high risk and see like you can make 20 or 30K in crypto, but you can just get liquidated and lose 10K.
That's I think it's a golden lesson for a lot of people there in what you said, which is, you know, the way that I've heard what you said there is the amateur or the inexperienced trader are really just focused on the upside. They're thinking about how can I make my 1 to 5, 1 to 10, how can I make 20% overnight? But the people that are doing this that are really high level, the professionals, the ones that we are, you know, mostly aspiring to be like, they're actually more concerned about the downside. They're like, you know, as long as you can keep your drawdown in check and you can control and manage risk over a period of time, then actually, if you have an edge, you're likely to do well over a large enough sample size. But I think not a lot of people have that long-term perspective, right? They want the returns and they want them now. And if they don't get it, they get frustrated, they go on tilt, and it starts a whole spiral of behavior, which most people are trying to avoid.
It's with everything in life.
Yes.
With losing weight,
Yeah.
everything. It's also the issue with TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff. Everything is fast, quick dopamine. So
Yeah.
people really have to rewire their brain. And that's what makes trading very hard. And even if you put all in the work and you do everything, you're still going to lose money. You're not going to be perfect. It's also a lesson I found in my journey. I wanted to have the perfect strategy. And of course, you want to improve and learn things, but you're not going to be perfect. You just have to accept. I'm always a student of the markets. And
yeah, I think it's a big part, right? I always say from the psychological standpoint, one of the hardest jobs of an aspiring trader is accepting that there's no amount of analysis or knowledge that will ever make the markets uncertain, right? Your ability to accept uncertainty is really what determines how successful you will be. And again, as you perfectly said, I think everyone coming into this game is looking for a certain level of perfection or certainty. And the more you go down that rabbit hole, the less of it you're ever going to find. You normally just end up with a more clouded mind, more clouded judgment, and it just works against you in terms of your performance.
We see a lot of people strategy hopping, going from community to community. They buy courses. I did the same thing. I was strategy hopping, looking for the holy grail. Oh, this group is having more payouts. This group is having more payouts. I need to go to that group. And even in my group, there's a lot of people, you don't see them for like 3 months, 4 months. And then they come back, because they're like, I just need to stick to something that actually works. And that's a big issue that I had myself. Tried a lot of groups, and I just had, it doesn't work like that. You just need to find your edge, stay with it, stay consistent, especially if the data is correct. Don't just hop strategies if you have a losing streak. Even myself, I didn't change my strategy. Of course, if you lose 5 to 6 trades, there's some doubt, and you want to be critical and you want to be thinking like, is my strategy still working? I really did check that. And I just noticed by looking at my trades, like if I look at a trade that I took, I can just check, well, was this a good trade? Honestly, this was, oh my God, I'm like, it's a bad trade. So I can tell, like, did I execute correctly here? This is probably FOMO. This is just liquidity, but the displacement isn't good. It's actually ranging. So it could just sweep lower and lower because it's not displacing. So I just know if I look at my trades, like I don't need to strategy up. I'm just executing B setups.
Yeah.
Very
interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, perfect. Jordy, I think you've given us a fantastic insight and transparently as well, which I'm very, very thankful for, both over the charts and the journals, which has been amazing. Last few things I would love to get inside your mind about is, and again, we've started to touch on this a little bit already, which is the kind of challenges that you went through in your journey. You've talked about how in your early years, you spent a lot of time strategy hopping. Do you think that was the biggest problem that you had in terms of your journey, or were there anything else that really stood out, which kept you in that losing cycle?
I had a lot of personal growth because I had a lot of personal issues that were in the way of my trading journey. It's not that I'm a bad trader or that I don't understand the strategy. Usually it's the monkey pressing the buttons that is making that's always what I say, the little monkey brain, and you're just pressing buttons, and that's the issue. But my biggest issues were usually ego. Also what happened is when I made a lot of money and I was just, it happened last year in January. I made a lot of money in crypto, and I just gave it all back the month after it because you just peak into this arrogance, ego state. So that was a big lesson for me to understanding, well, you have this ego state or this nasty place to be, and at the bottom you have this this other state where you have doubt, you have fear, so like overconfidence and like underconfidence. I'm not sure how I should call it, and just understanding how can I keep myself in this flow state in the middle, and that's actually being focused on the process and not just being affected by results that much. But it's difficult because I had periods last month where I 2 months ago where I had a record payout for myself, and it's just very hard to not put yourself on a pedestal if you make a lot of money. you automatically do it. If you make
Mm,
more than 10K a month, more than 20K a month, you're going to be excited.
yeah.
You just, it's like, it feels like you're cheating in life. You're just
Yeah.
getting, you just press some buttons and you
Yeah.
get, that's what I had. I was like, holy shit. Like, it was 19K that I had. It wasn't with FundedNext, but it was
Okay.
in December. And it was just from one firm. So I made
Mm,
like, I think 30, 40K Forex and crypto together. So
awesome.
for me, it was like, shit, and I'm the best. I made a lot of money. When I realized that, and the key is in learning to realize in what state
Mm,
you are as a trader, and just understanding, oh no, this is not good.
mm,
I'm very hyped. I'm very just understanding that you shouldn't be trading, because what I did before was just entering the market. Well, I can take anything now. I have a buffer. I can just take some positions. So that was a big lesson for me, being focused on the process, not the results, and then not letting the results influence you that much, which is also part. Even if you have losses, that's
yeah.
something. For me, the losing part wasn't the biggest issue because I always had like, okay, it happened. Next week, I'm back at it. For
Yeah.
me, it was the winning part that had the most issues for me. But I know there's a lot of people who will probably have issues with the losing part as well, getting frustrated. I had it as well in the beginning, so I tried to make it as fun as it can for me, so I'm not
Mm.
getting frustration, and then I see every trade as a lesson. So these two things, they really have grown me as a person and as a trader.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in what you said there. And I think, the two parts that stood out for me a lot is you mentioned that you had more issues with winning rather than losing, and how that dynamic may not exist for everyone. And I think fundamentally that's what makes trading so difficult, because there is no one size fits all, or there's no playbook that works for everyone. Trading is truly a game of personal development, it's a game of self awareness. And until you really know yourself as a person, it's hard to find any consistent success. Everyone can
Yeah.
find success by, just getting lucky in the short term, but it's doing it consistently over a large period of time, which is the difficult part. And the second part of what you said there that I really resonate with and I understand is obviously that focus on the process, right? I think one of the things that makes trading so difficult, and I think people watching this, especially if you're new to the game, it's something that you're going to resonate with. All of your bad habits and behaviors are born from confusing luck and skill, right? Because trading is the one industry where you could do everything wrong and you could still make money. And the moment you believe that you've been skilled in doing that, but actually you just got lucky and rewarded for doing the wrong things, and you start putting money on this pedestal and as a measurement of your success, you're kind of screwed, right? You're screwed psychologically, because then it sets off this wave of bad patterns and behavior, which is very, very difficult to break through. So yeah,
Also,
fantastic nuggets of wisdom. Sorry.
also spiritually, it's gonna screw you up because
Yeah.
if you're always going through your trading journey, like for me, I bought a nice car, I bought a nice watch, and in the end, you realize, okay, it's a gift to myself, a reward, and then, but in the end, you realize it's just about the freedom. I don't really care
Yeah.
about. Well, it's nice to buy yourself a reward, but
Yeah.
spiritually, you'll always just focus on your freedom, growing yourself. That's going to bring you. And as I mentioned, a little extra on that, when you're in these bad states of like getting very arrogant,
Yeah.
overconfidence, I think what happens is you sabotage yourself, and that's something that I really did,
Mm,
because even if you suffer and you have a lot of losses, you're gonna enter in a bad state, and in that bad state, you're gonna sabotage yourself because you're pushing to get wins. Yeah, you just want to get more and more, or you just want to get out of that losing streak, and you're gonna start sabotaging yourself, taking trades you shouldn't trade.
mm,
Am I perfect? No, I still do it today. I still do it last month. I still take very shitty setups. I'm gonna
yeah.
be fully honest with you, but I do it less. I do it
Yeah.
more calmly, and I try to learn from it. And I hope I still make a lot of losses this year, because that's how you can grow as a person, I think.
Very well said. Very well said. Jordy, last couple of questions for you. I know we've kept you for quite a while today. I've been enjoying this
No worries.
conversation a lot. Any future plans or goals, long-term visions in terms of your trading? Are we ever going to see a Jordy hedge fund at some point in the future?
To me, everything I do in the future is based around freedom, to
Okay.
get more freedom for me, my girlfriend, my family. So that's like for me, the big motivator since the beginning is freedom. So that's going to be some part. And I think if you a hedge fund, a prop firm, stuff like that. You see a lot of influencers doing that stuff. For me, it's not something I really thrive to do because it's gonna cost me a lot of time. And I started trading to get freedom. And also with my coaching business, I want to grow that one as well, get people connected, grow people. That's something that really motivates me a lot. It gives me passion and it's fun to do. So I'm going to grow that probably, but just I'm not going to push it that much. Just want to grow it, help people a bit more, but also save my time and automate a lot of stuff. So I'm not going to be doing sales calls anymore. I'm not going to be, I just want this business to run, get more people into my group and have more people in the live sessions and stuff like that. So I really like doing that. Trading wise, scaling up in capital. There's no rush. I have a target for myself, which is a high target, but I truly believe if I buy a lot of challenges in the end, I'll get more funding. So getting 5 million in funding is something like a mental target for me. But in the end, it's just a numbers game, and I don't really care that much about the numbers. But that's the goal. I think getting more funded, growing my group, and just having more freedom, doing more things in life without thinking about it. I think that's for me the ultimate goal. If I want to move to Dubai tomorrow without thinking, that's something I would be able to do a lot of stuff already today. But if I want to buy a Lamborghini tomorrow or something, if I want to, I wouldn't be able to just do it without thinking. And I think that's the ultimate freedom, that you can just say, I don't care about the car, the flashy thing, but I can just buy it if I want it. If I say, well, it might be fun, I'll buy it. That's the fun part, and not being growing as a person. That's more things that I want to do. Get more healthy, get more focused, work with a lot of people, grow my personal brand. That's the things I'll focus on, to get connected with a lot of people, not only just trading. And I think I've been a trader for a long while, like my identity, and that's a big issue for a lot of people. Their identity is, I'm a trader, I'm escaping the matrix. And I think going out of that identity into like, I'm just a normal man, I'm the son of my mother, I'm just doing this thing and I'm just having fun, and not being trading being my full, like if people talk about me, I'm Jordy. I'm not. They always see the trading part. So doing more lifestyle stuff and more freedom. Yeah, that's what I'm focused on.
Beautiful, beautiful, man. Honestly, that's it's a really empowering message, I think, to wind things down on.
Thank you.
One last question for you, and primarily this is for the team at FundedNext. Are there any suggestions, recommendations, things that you would like to see more of, less of from the FundedNext side?
Not really. I never had any issues. For me, yeah, it's I don't really use the dashboard because I track my own trades in my own journal. But I think, yeah, it's a very nice, for me, the only thing I care about is that the dashboard is very clean and very easy to use. As you can tell from my trading, I'm very minimalistic, clean. So you have these prop firms that have a dashboard and you see everything all over the place. And if I need to look for my login, for example, it's going to be very difficult. So I think already in FundedNext, it doesn't need to be anything more special than this. It's very easy to use. You get everything that you need very quickly. Yeah, so I'm very happy overall. The certificates, I think they bug sometimes. Oh no, they're already. It takes a while for the certificates to load, but I don't care anymore about the certificates. As a first time getting payouts, it was like, where's my payout certificate? You know, but I just clicked it on the website. I see they're already there. So nothing really much that I can complain about or that I would change. The platform is good, the app is good, because you see a lot of platforms using DXTrade and stuff like that, which has a very not the best app. So I think everything is very nicely done.
Awesome. All right, beautiful, man. Love to hear it. Jordy, thank you so much for spending some time with us here today. Honestly, it's been a really, really interesting conversation, getting inside your mind, learning about your journey, seeing some insights into your charts, into your journals. Really, really thankful, man. Hopefully we get to do this at some point again in the future, maybe after some more payouts. But yeah, looking forward to a round two, man. I appreciate your time.
Definitely. Thank you for having me, and we'll see each other again, I'm very sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Meet the Trader. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, leave a comment below with your biggest lesson and takeaway. Be sure to follow the FundedNext YouTube channel, and I will see you again in the next one. Take care.